Hey, how y'all doing, man? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody. All right, so look, today's episode, I want to talk about I want to continue this conversation about the 37 billion stream thing, but I want to talk about the business side of it and how I think a lot of people are looking at this from a different point of view. Well, at least I'm going to look at it from a different point of view. Um and yeah, we're going to talk about it. And is this going to actually affect more than just Drake? I think that this is actually the collapse of streaming. And what I mean by that is not necessarily like the streaming is going to go away, but we get into that. Before I get to that, legendary spill, this is Torch Talk. If you like the content, please consider subscribing. If you're new here, let me work for your subscription today. All the beautiful, single, sexy ladies, put one in the chat. All the fellas, y'all know the final ones at. Just don't harass them. I don't sell no merch, but I do have content absolutely free. But if you want to leave a donation, link is in the description. Cash App, no more PayPal. They call me the Hidden Gem. 1,300 subscribers to over 19,000. And yes, I am the King of the North. Let me know what kingdom you are from. Also, too, the merch shop will be opening soon. I'm working on it still. Yes, I'm working on it. I showed it in the video. I'm going to be working on it. I think I'm going to take a different approach because the approach I took, it's taking too much time. And I think if I just go a different way, I can get it done faster and it would be better. So we're going to get into that soon. But also go subscribe to Torch Talk After Hours. So look, let's get into it, man. Look, so this isn't just gonna affect Drake as well. I think this is gonna change the whole landscape of how people receive music in general. If you think about it, because right, the whole thing about the music industry is to make money, right? Let's be clear here. I think a lot of people try to ignore that fact, but the fact is, the music industry is here to make money. Let's just be honest. You know what I'm saying? Let's just be honest. The artists are here to make money as well too. A lot of y'all probably think that a lot of these artists are here for virtuous reasons or to change society. They are in a certain sense, but a good portion of them, except for a few, are in it for the green. Simple as that. You know what I'm saying? Understand these companies generate billions beyond billions of dollars, some even trillions of dollars. And we're not just talking about the music industry. We talk about the movie industry. We talking about a bunch of industries that they do deceptive practices so they can keep their wealth. And I know a lot of people at this point is saying, well, you have to understand these people been doing these things and getting over on people for years, and now it's our turn to get over on them. To that, I say two wrongs don't make a right. I understand why you would say that, but you're not doing it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people be thinking because scammers are doing something that they are a part of the scamming. No, you're not. You're not a part of the scamming. The scammers are doing it and getting away with it. You're just getting caught. You know what I'm saying? You're following a model that you don't even know what's the end result. So you're just going on with it because they have to pay, and you don't understand how business works. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like let's just use the what's going on right now, for example, right? A lot of people are going into these stores and they're stealing, and they're saying, "Oh man, they're taking our benefits away." Right? A lot of the people are going and stealing now, right? But you're going to lose if you do that. You're going to lose. Whoever's taking your benefits away, whether it's Republican or Democrat, I'm not even going to discuss that. I'm just saying whoever's doing that, they're not going to get in trouble. You're going to get in trouble. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get in trouble. And I think this is what happens with people who think they're stealing or streaming or bodying or doing anything that goes against the machine. You know what I'm saying? So do I believe that this is going to impact most artists nowadays? I think that if this happens and this restructuring of Spotify and Apple and Tidal or wherever, you know what I'm saying? If this restructuring happens, and what I mean by restructuring, I'm talking like, okay, now people will have to consume music a different way. Yes, it would impact artists, but let's be clear here. This is not me taking up for the big companies. I'm just giving y'all what the real is, because a lot of people ain't gonna tell y'all this. A lot of these hip hop media outlets, they gonna pretend like they hate these companies when they actually work for them. You know what I'm saying? So I'm talking real shit here. Like, a lot of these companies have people working for them, and they deliberately have them working against them, because people like controversy. They like stuff that's actually against them and not for them, because most people gravitate towards negativity. That's just what it is. If I get on here and I talk about something that y'all don't like, you know what I'm saying? Some of y'all might leave. But I'll get a good portion of people who not even fans of mine will just subscribe, because people like drama. They love it. So this whole thing here happening to Drake, it's not just to Drake. This is to every artist that have been bodying, or people been bodying for them. Because let's be clear here. Just because someone's bodying doesn't mean that you're the one bodying, right? Now, I did see a video. I think I'm going to make a separate video about something that Poetic Flacco said. I like Poetic Flacco. I mean, he did something about Kendrick a while ago I did not like. But he said something that I think he misunderstood or misunderstand, or he deliberately is pushing something that's just not right. And he's saying this to try to make a point that Kendrick Lamar and everybody on the West Coast is the detriment of hip hop. And the reason why is because they're okay with people suing people. But when Drake took someone to court, it was different, because Drake was snitching. Now, this is I don't know how he tried to piece that together. And I would love to have a conversation or a debate with him on that. But you can't piece something like that together. That doesn't make sense. This is a totally different argument. Totally different. You know what I'm saying? Totally. You're saying that Drake, because we all know Drake took UMG to court for helping Kendrick, right? But the main thing was they devalued him and defamed him. That was the main thing. It wasn't that they took him to court. He took him to court, and on top of that, there were different courts that threw the case out, or it didn't go far, or he dismissed it himself about the bots and the streaming. So him deliberately saying that, to me, is very disingenuous for him to do, and knowing that that's not what actually happened. And he wants to put his own spin on it, and I think it's wrong. So anyway, but as far as Spotify goes, you have to understand, and I said this in a previous video, that a lot of people in these other countries don't have credit cards. Not gonna lie, they don't. I'll put it to you like this. A lot of people in America might not even have credit cards. Not just other countries. People in America don't have a lot of credit cards or different things that can listen. And some people don't want to put their stuff online. I know my cousins, my aunts, they would never buy stuff off Amazon. They would never put their stuff online. They would rather go to the store, because they like money rules all. They don't want to put none of their information out there, because you hear horror stories about stuff like that. And I think a lot of us don't take that into consideration. I think a bunch of us, we think that whatever our argument is, whatever side it's on, whatever our argument is, we think it's right. You know what I'm saying? We think it's right, whatever argument is on. So what I'm going to say here is, you have artists like Beyonce, you have artists like Taylor Swift, you have artists like, a bunch of artists. Kendrick, Drake, a bunch of artists who could be, let's say this, a lot of these artists could have people, or people could be doing things for them behind the scenes that they don't know. Let's just say that. And I have to put Drake in there, because I'm not saying, because I know people were saying, I know Drake knew, right? I know Drake knew. That's what people say. And that's a valid argument because he did say something about this in the Family Matters record at the end of Family Matters. But the crazy thing is, Drake said that before Not Like Us came out. So if you're saying that before Not Like Us came out, either you knew that there were bots or whatever, or you thought that Euphoria was going to blow up. So it's either one. I'm going to err on the side of he thought it was Euphoria. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think he knew that Not Like Us was coming. Nobody knew that Not Like Us was coming. You know what I'm saying? I think he thought that because Euphoria was such a big record at the time. And Drake pre-recorded this. So it wasn't like, oh, Drake recorded this. We know Drake pre-recorded Family Matters because he previewed Family Matters before all the songs came out, before Euphoria. So that song was previewed before Euphoria. So I'm thinking either Drake knew that whoever was working, whoever, that maybe he was going to help Kendrick, or Drake didn't know. And he just said that because they helped him. And I get it. People were saying, nah, it's Drake. Drake knew. I'm just going to say, you never know who knows what. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these people, they do have people working for them doing things. But the crazy thing is, Kendrick talked about this too. And it was basically a rebuttal. Well, it wasn't a rebuttal because Kendrick talked about it before Family Matters. Because Kendrick said, you playing dirty with Zach B and Twitter bots. He said that before Family Matters. So now that I think about it, I'm just going to have to say Drake probably did know. Because if Kendrick said it before you, matter of fact, it's kind of confusing. Let me just say that, right? It's kind of confusing. If Drake pre-recorded Family Matters, right? Follow me on this. If Drake pre-recorded Family Matters before 616 in LA, right? Either one, Kendrick heard Family Matters already. Or two, they both knew that somebody was going to use something. Because Family Matters came out after 616 in LA. 616 in LA came out before Family Matters, and Kendrick mentioned bots. So Kendrick was the first one to mention bots, technically, on that we heard. But behind the scenes, Drake was probably the first person to mention bots. Or Drake could have added that part at the end because he heard 616 LA. He could have had that at the end as a rebuttal. So it's kind of confusing, but I just want to say that. But anyway, as far as the rest of these artists goes, we don't know what's going to come out. And if they're citing Drake as being the guy who has the most botted streams, I'm sure that there's going to be they was talking about No Face and saying No Face had over almost 300,000 streams that were fake. You know what I'm saying? And No Face was a record I don't think that they really promoted like that. Now, as far as UMG goes, I already know what people are going to say. They're going to say, oh, yeah, UMG probably has something to do with this. Or UMG knew. UMG isn't Spotify. UMG is just the record company. They don't control none of that. And let me shoot Spotify some bail real quick, because I think a lot of us ain't saying this because we just hate the big industries, right? When you create these accounts, Spotify doesn't know if it's a fake account or a real account. They don't know. As long as they give you certain rules. And the rule is email, name, or whatever you have to put in. They don't ask you for your social security number. They don't ask you for, and that's in the United States. I'm sure that there's maybe some type of tracking number for everybody in these other countries, but they don't have that. A social security number is in the United States. I want y'all to understand that. That's not worldwide. You know what I'm saying? So they don't ask for these things. A lot of us get upset or mad at these companies, and we don't get mad at the people who are doing things that fuck it up for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you're mad at Spotify for allowing the company, for allowing them, or didn't know, or whatever, because I don't think that people would allow themselves to get scammed. You know what I'm saying? You're mad at Spotify for essentially, you're saying allowing people to trick them to get bigger streams for somebody else. But then at the same time, you're saying you're okay with cheating these companies because it's okay for bigger artists, people to cheat them to make money. But then you say, well, no, I don't like that because it's Drake. Well, then you say, no, I love it because it's Drake. It's like, which one do y'all want? So I'm saying, as far as Spotify goes, if Spotify didn't know, let's just say Spotify didn't know. Because if they did know, why would they allow it to go on? You know what I'm saying? Some people say, well, they're allowing it to go on so they can make money. Understand something. These big companies, if they're doing that for one artist, if you're saying that, then they're doing it for every artist. They're not basically doing it for one. Now, is Drake a mega star? Yes. But can they get that off with other artists if they doing it with him? Yes, they can. Now, I know that people are saying, well, there's a pool that everything go into and they do this and you get bigger incentives, the payouts, whatever. I don't think that Spotify, and this is just me, I could be wrong. I don't think Spotify organized bodying for Drake. I don't think that they did that. I think that whoever is the botters for Drake or whoever did that and Spotify didn't catch it. That's what I think happened. I don't think that Spotify, because it's too easy to catch. If Spotify is directly connected to that, they could lose their whole company. I don't think that these people are that stupid that they will connect their company to bodying. I don't think they would do that. I think people were saying when they say they turn the blind eye, maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. But I don't think that they're completely connected to the bodying. Oh, yeah, Spotify knew all along. I just don't think that they would do something like that, knowing that they have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of artists on their platform that they would lose. I just don't think they would do that. I don't think companies do things like that at that level, because Spotify is at the level of a necessity now. You understand? Facebook is at a level of a necessity because people use it. You know what I'm saying? For necessity. Spotify is the same way. Apple the same way. These companies, if they collapse, it's not just them collapsing. It's other companies under them and other artists and everything collapsing as well. So I don't think that that's the case. So even if it came out, and let's just say Spotify did know, they're probably gonna get a slap on the wrist. And some of y'all want to see a company collapse, be like, nah, they should all burn. But then everybody would lose everything. And y'all like, nah, fuck it. We should all lose everything and start over. Then we start over, and guess what? We build it all the way up, and people do the same thing, and they collapse. So you got to understand, sometimes you have to take the gift with the curse. I'm sorry to tell y'all that. Sometimes you got to take it. It is what it is. Sometimes you got to take it. What they say is better the devil you know than the devil you don't know. So you burn the whole system down, and now it's worse, and nothing comes back. Like, so I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm not excusing bodying. I'm just giving y'all a different perspective, because a lot of people y'all just want things to just crash and burn. Oh no, it's over. Like, I get it. But at the same time, I look at it from a different point of view. Like, so you want everything to burn down because you want it to burn down because you feel like, oh, well, they were cheating this person. Okay, well, what about this person that they helped? You know what I'm saying? What about that person that they helped? What about the people that cheated them? What about the people that cheated them to help other people? It's a corrupt cabal. It's not just one. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I understand Watch the Party Die, and I think that that's a perfect example of burning everything down. Even though I love that song, I don't totally agree with that. You know what I'm saying? I don't totally agree with burning everything down. I just don't. I don't think that that's the proper way of going about doing everything. You understand what I'm saying? And again, I'm not listening. I'm just saying. But either way, so as far as as far as Spotify goes, you have to understand, if people are creating these accounts and at a rapid succession, how do you combat that if you don't know if they're real or fake? And a lot of y'all just think it's just a button that people push, like, oh no, just do that. It could do that. All of us, including myself, we don't know how to stop something like that. We get a tiny virus on our computer, we freak out. It's just a tiny virus. Or we change the time on our computer and we don't know why it's not running properly. It's just the time. We don't really know all these things. So imagine on a grander scale. You're supposed to say, oh, they're supposed to have professionals working for them. Well, how do you know these professionals don't have professionals, scammers combating them? You do know that the government hires scammers and professionals that are better than them. They work for them. They have a whole movie about that. Or Leonardo DiCaprio. He was a scammer and he ended up working for the government. That does happen. They recruit you. How did you get past this paywall? What did you do to do that? How did you get to do that? Oh my God. So you got to understand, man, these companies are very vulnerable to scammers. And again, we blame the company and not the scammer. I think that the scammers are in a position where they're acting like they're Robin Hood, and they're not. They're not Robin Hood. They're not doing that. Oh, they did it for free. They did it for me. Yeah, they scammed and took your credit information and used it on something else. A lot of y'all okay with scammers until it happens to you. Oh no, they scammed me. Oh, I thought you was okay with scammers. Like if someone is creating scams, especially, I used to work in a hospital. And I ain't gonna say no names, obviously, but people at my hospital were what they call low-level scammers. They literally used to take old people's social security numbers, and they will literally go and get a credit card in their name. They'll get a credit, put their name, their social security number, all in online, and they'll get a credit card in their name. And the old person don't know because they don't know because they don't know. They don't check nothing. They don't get no bill. Like, they don't know. And they used to do it all the time. So imagine you talking about how much you appreciate or you love or you champion scammers, and they do that to your grandma. Like, come on, bro. Oh no, don't scam me and mine. You know what I mean? You gotta scam the big companies. Do that. It's like, okay, so you scam the big companies, and what happens? It still affects you somehow, some way. So, but yeah, I just wanted to talk about that real quick. It's a lot going on. You know what I'm saying? And I got a couple episodes coming out today. I'll be back in the studio tomorrow. I'll be back in the studio. So y'all be seeing those videos maybe tomorrow night. So, but thank y'all for joining me. I appreciate y'all for clicking the video. I just had to speak on this. I got a couple of videos coming up today. And yeah. So I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace. Bye.